What's going on, guys? Mortgage and real estate broker Mike here again. And what I'm going to do for you guys is review a few videos that talk about inflation, the housing market, what's happening in the rental market, and then we're going to look at what's happening with the homeowners insurance situation here in Florida. And not just in Florida, really all over the country. Let's take a look at this first report.
CNN's Matt Egan joins me now to take a deeper look. So Matt, explain what is going on and what explains the rising housing costs.
Well, Manu, today's inflation report overall was encouraging. We actually did see prices drop on a monthly basis for things like gasoline and new cars, airfare. But one of the big problems, of course, is how expensive it is right now to rent and to own a home. And that is really pushing up the overall inflation rate. So we can see that shelter costs were up year over year last month by 5.4%. That is well ahead of the overall inflation rate of 3.3%. And this is, of course, a big problem because, one, shelter is a huge part of our monthly budget. So this is something that Americans really feel. Of course, this is also a problem because this is a big component of the overall inflation rate. And one of the reasons why this is happening is because there's just not enough supply out there, whether we're talking about supply of homes or the supply of affordable units to rent. There's more demand than supply, and that has pushed up the cost here. Now, when we look at the trend for shelter inflation, two things stand out. One, we are much better placed than 2 years ago, right? Costs are going up, but not as rapidly as they were. The other thing that stands out, though, is that the progress has been slow, and shelter inflation is still well ahead of what people would consider normal from right before COVID.
A huge part of that, especially in the rental market, is the fact that there aren't as many homes out there to purchase, right? We went from having about a 4 to 6 month supply of homes to now barely having a 2-month supply of homes. And when that happens, more people rent because there are not enough homes to purchase.
Now, the good news here is that there are some more timely market-based indicators on rent that do show some improvement. But some of that has not shown up in the government statistics, at least not yet. For homeowners, one of the problems here is the cost to get homeowners insurance. We've seen premiums skyrocket, in part because of extreme weather, right? Hurricanes and flash floods and wildfires. I spoke to a woman in California this week who told me that overnight her home insurance rates doubled with no warning, and that really blew a hole in her budget. So that's another problem that we need to pay attention to.
And if you're a homeowner here in Florida, you know that most of the insurance companies have pulled out of Florida. A lot of them refuse to write coverage on homeowners insurance, but we'll get into that a little later.
And a lot of this is going to be decided by what happens with the Federal Reserve. As we speak, the Fed is meeting, debating, trying to decide whether or not they want to signal a desire to start lowering interest rates. Not something that's likely to happen today, but everyone on Wall Street and everyone at home is going to be paying close attention to whether or not the Fed signals it will lower interest rates in the coming months. One of the big questions, Manu, is whether or not the Fed is able to cut interest rates before the election. The last meeting before the election is in September, so time is running out.
If you're enjoying this content, folks, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Send it to someone you think might find it useful. And that's the other thing that's constricting the market, right? Because a percentage of the inventory of homes that are available comes from folks who are selling their homes and purchasing new homes. And most folks don't want to sell their home if, when they go to buy another house, they have to pay a higher interest rate than what they currently have, or it's out of reach for them as far as what they can afford. At least there's some good news, right? Because inflation is kind of cooling off. Prices on gas and groceries, etc., are starting to level off a little bit. Let's look at this next news report.
Some welcome news today as May inflation came in cooler than expected, up 3.3% year over year. The Fed today leaving interest rates unchanged and signaling just one cut is likely this year. Price relief coming in areas like airline fares, down almost 6%. Used cars and trucks down more than 9%, and smartphone prices down 11.5%. But in our series, The Cost of Living, Brian Chung reports now even after buying a home, the cost of maintaining it is hitting Americans hard.
Teron Joyner is a single mom of 3 living in Atlanta. When she bought her home in 2020, she thought her low mortgage rate would keep her monthly payments down. But water damage from severe winter storms led to 2 insurance claims, and the event planner wasn't prepared for what came next.
I did expect for my rates to go up, but I did not expect to be dropped.
She scrambled for a new policy only to find rates skyrocketing. Her premium going up from $1,200 to more than $5,700 a year with her new provider.
To get penalized for just being a customer who needed help, it just felt, I don't know, like a little bit of a betrayal.
And I know exactly how this lady feels because the same thing happened to me. I'm in the real estate industry and it happened to me. My insurance carrier just dropped me. They sent me a letter, and then when I called them and said, what's going on? What is this letter about you not renewing my coverage? They're like, yeah, we're not renewing anyone in your zip code anymore. It's like getting punched in the face. You feel betrayed. You feel like they don't really care.
One of the reasons? Climate change. Last year, the United States had a record 28 separate weather and climate disasters costing at least $1 billion, with insurance companies losing money in 16 states. And now many insurers are dropping customers from their policies, sometimes leaving entire states, and not just ones on the coast.
We've never seen anything close to this.
Even in Iowa, a place that doesn't get hard hit by hurricanes or wildfires.
These last 5 years have been more difficult because of hail, tornado, wind, and other factors that are not weather related.
In Atlanta, Joyner says she and the kids are happy in their home, but it hurts when she looks at the bills. Do you regret purchasing this home?
There are times where I feel that way, yes.
And as tragic as all of this is, without a doubt, there is no better investment than purchasing a home. Yes, it's getting more expensive, and that's a function of inflation, supply and demand. There not being enough supply to meet the demand of folks who want homes. But what's the alternative to owning a home? It's renting, right? And renting, as opposed to investing in your own home, that when you make a payment every month, it's going towards paying down that balance that's going to build equity in your home, right? It's a place to raise your family, the tax benefits. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Just as an example, here in South Florida, the average rental, let's say a 2-bedroom, decent apartment, is $2,600. That's $30,000 annually, right? If you've been renting for 2 years, you've already thrown away $60,000 because it's not going towards property you own. It's not building equity in your home. That's money that you've just given to a landlord to pay for their property when you could have been paying for your own property. This is what I would say to homeowners who are feeling the pinch right now, whether it be insurance, whether it be someone who's looking to buy a house and interest rates are a little bit higher than they were a couple of years ago. Yes, homeownership comes with certain expenses, but I promise you, the investment of home ownership will yield returns tenfold, not just financially, but in your peace of mind, in what you can pass down to your children, stability. Now, we all know that the home ownership insurance situation it's borderline crisis, right? So let's take a look at what the Chief Financial Officer of Florida has to say.
Jimmy Petronas says he wanted to come here to tell me home insurance in Florida is getting better.
It doesn't happen overnight. But what I do know is 8 new companies that come to the state of Florida. That's more than any other state in the union can say. So the changes we have made has brought competition to the market, and it will have an effect, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Petronas' office oversees the My Save Florida Home program and admits there has been a crush in demand that has run funds dry.
And this is a pretty good program, guys. This Home Safe, my Florida Home Safe program, is a grant given to homeowners to bolster your home from natural disasters. So part of it is used to put in hurricane windows, insulate your home. That will help you to get credits on your insurance premium for your home. And the idea is that if you bolster the home, it will bring your premiums down and help not just that homeowner, but all of Florida and the insurance companies to bring premiums down.
I think now there's 58,000 that they're in the queue that have not got money allocated to them. So I think that 58,000 is going to be the first that's going to have access to the money starting July 1.
So they're going to be prioritized.
Yeah,
first.
they were already in line.
New money, $200 million from Florida lawmakers, and new rules going forward. Priority now for seniors and low-income families.
Yeah, if you're in the queue, once that money is there, you're going to be okay. But once the money is gone, we will turn off the program.
And every indication is there'll be a rush for this money in July, as much as $10,000 for each grant.
And I'll put a link to this program in the description of this video. So if you're a homeowner and you want to apply for it, you can go there. And I don't know how successful you'll be, because this is the second iteration of this program. And they ran through $100 million that was allocated to the program last year in, I think, like 2 or 3 months. Thanks for watching, guys. Watch this next video coming up. I think you'll enjoy it.